परिवर जगच्चार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य शीलदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरी गोवर्धन धाम की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा मैया की जय। यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all Shri Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। क्षणमतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृदन्तस्तु भद्राणि विधनोति सुरसतां नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेव्या भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नष्टकी। Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on second canto, chapter number 6, and on text number 35. Can we share the screen, Matri?
You should be able to share the screen.
No,
Does
you need to make me host.
Actually, a lot of people are able to share without me making co-hosts. So I'm wondering what's happening.
Yeah, maybe some settings are there, maybe I don't know. Okay, so canto second, chapter number 6, text number 35. Soham samaamnayamayas tapomaya प्रजापतीनाम् अभिवन्दितः पतिः आस्थाय योगं निपुणं समाहितस् तं नाध्या गच्छं यत्
Sorry, Prabhu.
गच्छं यत् आत्मसंभव.
You have to share the screen?
Yeah, if other devotee want to read, I can read by myself, that's fine.
No.
Okay, I'll try again. Thank you. Soham sama amnayamas yamyastapomaya प्रजापतीनाम् अभिवन्दितः पतिः आस्थाय योगं निपुणं समाहितस् तं नाद्य गच्छं यत् आत्मसंभवा. सोऽहं समाअमनाय यं यस्तपोमया प्रजापतीनाम् अभिवन्दितः पतिः आस्थाय योगं निपुणं समाहितस् तं नाद्यगच्छं यत् आत्मसंभवा. Hare Krishna, if you want to say, please say.
Soham samam naya maya tapomaya prajapatinam abhivandita pati asthaya yogam
आस्थाय योगं निपुणं समाहितस्तं नाध्यागच्छं यत आत्मसंभवः। हरे कृष्णा।
सोऽहं समाम्नायमयस्तपोमया प्रजापतीनाम् अभिवन्दितापति आस्थाय योगं निपुणं समाहितस्तं नाद्यगच्छं यत आत्मसंभवा।
स अहं समन्वयामयस्तपोमया प्रजापतीनाम् अभिवन्दिताः पति आस्थाया योगां निपुणं समाहितस्तं नद्दया गच्छं यथा आत्मा संभवः। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Anyone else would like to say?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Hare Krishna.
सोऽहं सममयस्तपोमया प्रजापतीनाम् अभिवन्दितापति आस्थया जुगं निपुणं समाहितस्तं नदीगच्छं यथा आत्मसंभवः।
Hare Krishna. All right. So I'll read the synonym translation purport. Synonyms: Saham, myself, the great Brahma. Sama Amnaya Maya, in the chain of disciplic succession of Vedic wisdom. Tapamaya, successfully having undergone all austerities. Prajapatinam, of all the forefathers of living entities. Abhivandita, worshipable. Patihi, master. Asthai, successfully practiced. Yogam, mystic powers. Nipunam, very expert. Samahita, self-realized. Tam, the Supreme Lord. Na, did not. Adhyagacham, properly understood. Yataha, from whom. Atma, self. Sambhava, generated. Translation: although I am known as great Brahma, perfect in the disciplic succession of Vedic wisdom, and although I have undergone all austerity and am an expert in mystic powers and self-realization, and although I am recognized as such by the great forefathers of the living entities who offer me respectful obeisances, still I cannot understand him, the Lord, the very source of my birth. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma, the greatest of all living creatures within the universe, is admitting his failure to know the Supreme Lord despite his vast learning in the Vedic wisdom, despite his austerity, penance, mystic powers, and self-realization, and despite being worshipped by great Prajapatis, the forefathers of the living entities. So these qualifications are not sufficient to know the Supreme Lord. Brahmaji could understand the Lord to a little extent only when he was trying to serve him by eagerness of his heart. Arda Otkantya Vatah, which is the devotional service mood. Therefore, the Lord can be known only by the sincere mood of eagerness for service, and not by any amount of material qualification as scientists or speculative philosophers, or by attainment of mystic powers. This fact is clearly corroborated in Bhagavad Gita 18:54-55. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvata tato mam tattvato gyatva Vishte tad anantaram. Only self-realization by attainment of high above high qualification of Vedic wisdom, austerity, etc., can help one on the path of devotional service. But failing in devotional service, one remains still imperfect, because even in that position of self-realization, one cannot factually know the Supreme Lord. By self-realization, one is qualified to become a devotee, and devotee by service mode bhaktya only can gradually know the personality of Godhead. One should not, however, misunderstand the import of vishate, enter into, as referring to merging into the existence of the Supreme. Even in material existence, one is merged in the existence of the Lord. No materialist can disentangle self from matter, for the self is merged in the external energy of the Lord. As no layman can separate butter from milk, no one can extricate the merged self from matter by acquiring some material qualification. This vishate by devotion, bhaktya, means to be able to participate in the association of Lord in person. Bhakti or devotional service to the Lord means to become free from material entanglement and then to enter into the kingdom of God, becoming one like Him. Losing one's individuality is not the aim of Bhakti Yoga or of the devotees of the Lord. There are 5 types of liberation, one of which is called Sayujya Mukti, or being merged into the existence or body of the Lord. The other forms of liberation maintain the individuality of the particle soul and involves being always engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord. The word Vishate used in these verses of Bhagavad Gita is thus meant for devotees who are not at all anxious of any kind of liberation. The devotees are satisfied simply in being engaged in service of the Lord, regardless of the situation. Lord Brahma is the first living being who directly learned the Vedic wisdom from the Lord. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kaviye. Therefore, who can be more learned Vedantist than Lord Brahma? He admits that in spite of his perfect knowledge in the Vedas, he was unable to know the glories of the Lord. Since no one can be more than Lord Brahma, how can a so-called Vedantist be perfectly cognizant of absolute truth? The so-called Vedantist therefore cannot enter into the existence of Lord without being trained in the matter of Bhakti Vedanta, or Vedanta plus Bhakti. Vedanta means self-realization, and Bhakti means realization of the personality of Godhead to some extent. No one can know the personality of Godhead in full, but at least to a certain extent one can know the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, by self-surrender and a devotional attitude, and by nothing else. In the Brahma Samhita also it is said, Vedeshu Durlabham, or simply by studying the Vedanta one can hardly find out the existence of the personality of Godhead. But the Lord is Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau, very easily available to his devotee. Srila Vedvyas therefore was not satisfied simply with compiling the Vedanta Sutras, but over and above this, by the advice of his spiritual master Narada, he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam in order to understand the real import of Vedanta. Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, is the absolute medium by which to understand the absolute truth. Om Ajnanatimirasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam. Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Utapadikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. नमा ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशताणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्त रूप स्वरूपकं भक्तवतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्त शक्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभश्च कृपा सिन्धुवेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I'll read one more time the translation. Although I am known as great Brahma, perfect in the disciplic succession of Vedic wisdom, and although I have undergone all austerities and am an expert in mystic powers and self-realization, and although I am recognized as such by great forefathers of the living entities who offer me respectful obeisances, still I cannot understand him, the Lord, the very source of my birth. So, in this verse, Lord Brahma explaining to Narada, his son Narada, that even though he is the first living entity in this material world, and even though he's direct son of Lord Krishna, Lord Brahma is the first living entity in this material world, and he directly appear from the lotus coming out from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Lord Brahma is the first living entity, and there was no mother and father as we see in this material world. All the living entities who appear either become, they are the cause is either mother or father, right? Or both. But Lord Brahma appeared without any mother and father, material mother and father. Lord Brahma appeared directly from the lotus coming out from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So one of the name of Lord Brahma is Swayambhu. Swayambhu means he appeared by himself. Generally we say that Lord appears. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Janma karma cha me divyam evam yuvetti tattvata tektva deham parajam nayati mamitu sarjuna. Lord appears. So in case of Brahma also, it's not that there's somebody, some mother and father, they came together and then they gave birth to Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma also appeared Swambhu. But that he appeared by the mercy of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. So when Lord Brahma appears on the top of the lotus coming out from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, after he saw that when he saw himself, but at that time there was nothing there in the material world. He could not see anyone in the material world, and he was very surprised that nobody else is there except him. So he was thinking, who am I? What is why I'm here? Who is the source of my existence? Why I exist? So and like that, he has many questions. And what I'm supposed to do? He has no idea, but he was only there on the top of the lotus. But when he saw that he's sitting on a lotus, so he saw that this lotus is coming out from somewhere. So he thought, like, let me try to find it out, the origin of this lotus, from where it's actually coming out. Because the lotus was above the water, the Garbhodaksha ocean. So he started traveling in the lotus, in the stem, and he started traveling down south in the stem. And he was going there, and it was completely dark there. There was no light. Nothing was there, so he was completely dark, and he was traveling in the lotus, the stem of the lotus. and he enters into the lotus stem and then going down and down and down, and he enters into Garbhodaka ocean. And he was going there down and down and down, but he could not find the base or the origin of that lotus. And after traveling many years, still he could not find from where the lotus is coming. And while he was going like that, he got scared that he will lost into this eternity from where that is coming. He could not find it out. So he got scared and he came back. He took the U-turn and then came back again back to his stem, and then came again back at the top of the lotus. And he sat down there and thought, what should I do now? So at that time, by the inspiration of Lord Krishna, he heard the word tapaha. What the tapa word that he's mentioning here. Here, if you see in this tapomaya. So he performed austerity. Lord Brahma performed austerity at that time. So he heard the word tapaha, and then he started performing austerity at that time. And then while he was performing austerity, after many years later, Lord Krishna enters through his ears, from Lord Brahma's ear, and then he gave the knowledge of all Vedas into his heart. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavi. As we see in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1. Janmadhyasya yata anuvayat itatascharteshu abhigya swaran. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavi moyantyata surya. Tejo vari mradam yatha vinimoy yatrati sargomasha. Dhamna swena sada nirastu kokam satyam param dhimahi. So in the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vedvyas Muni is offering obeisances to Lord Krishna. And in that second line, he's saying, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavi. It is Lord Krishna who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Lord Brahma. So here, that's what Lord Brahma is saying, like that he actually get direct knowledge from Krishna. That's what the first line says, that although I am the great Brahma. So great Brahma, what he means is that I am the first living entity. I directly appear from the lotus which is coming out from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. He is the forefather of all living entities. So he's saying, I am that great Brahma who first get knowledge in the disciplic succession of Vedic wisdom. I am the first student of Lord Krishna. I am the direct student of Lord Krishna. I directly received the whole complete Vedic knowledge from Krishna. And he's saying that although I have undergone all austerity, he performed great austerities to get that knowledge. And he's also expert in mystic powers, all type of mystic power and self-realization. Because he's the first student of in Vedas, so he got all knowledge and he performed all mystic powers, and he understood that he's not the body, he's the soul. Because at that time there was nobody there to tell him that you are not the body, you are the soul. But so Lord Krishna directly came and teach. So you think about then, if Lord Krishna is giving this knowledge, Brahma should have understood, right? Generally we hear every day from Bhagavad Gita that we are not the body, we are the soul. But still we cannot understand, But Lord Brahma was not like that student. So he was directly inspired by Lord in his heart. And he understood. So there is a difference between self-realization and devotional service. Srila Prabhupada actually explained in the purport, we'll go through that. And he's saying that, and although I am recognized as such by great forefathers of the living entity, Brahma is the first Prajapati. Prajapati is forefathers. He is the first forefather. From him, all these Prajapatis appeared. Like we see Marichi, then Kashyap is the son of Marichi, Atri, Vasisht. All these great sages who become forefathers of the living entities, and Daksha, all these Prajapatis are actually appeared, or they got birth from Lord Brahma. So Brahma is the father of all living entity. And they all offer obeisances to Lord Brahma. But still Lord Brahma is saying, I cannot understand the Lord. He is saying that I'm incapable of understanding the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the reason? The reason is that he's saying only we can know Krishna only by devotional service. Even after having such knowledge, vast knowledge of Vedic literatures, a person cannot understand Krishna. Person cannot understand Krishna. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smrti jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarve aham eva vedyo vedant kadir videva chaham. Vedescha sarve aham eva vedyo. The purpose of Veda is to know Krishna. But Brahmaji is saying that people who are trying to understand Vedas, they might not understand this point, that the goal of Vedas is to know Krishna. But even he's saying that even somebody really know the whole Vedas, still they cannot understand Krishna just by simply academic studies. So we'll see in the purport here, Prabhupada says that the Brahma, the greatest living creature within the universe, is admitting his failure to know the Supreme Lord, despite his vast learning in Vedic wisdom. So, to know Krishna is not based on just learning Vedas. Even if somebody is Chaturvedi, we have in India, we have many people whose last name is Chaturvedi. Chaturvedi means a person who is expert in 4 Vedas. Rig Veda, Samveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. Some people have named Trivedi. They are expert in three Vedas, Rig, Sam, and Yajur. Then somebody is Dvivedi. They are expert in 2 Vedas. So, but point is that even though you are expert in all 4 Vedas and all Puranas, all Upanishads, all Itihasas, Upapuranas, whatever, but even though you have that vast learning, you really cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And despite his austerity, if along with Vedic wisdom, somebody also done a lot of austerities, penance, mystic powers they gain by the power of yoga siddhi, and self-relation. And you understand that you are not the body or the soul. You understand that fact also. Still, you cannot understand the Lord simply by that. Despite being worshipped by great Prajapatis, forefather of the living entity. So these qualifications are not sufficient to know the Supreme Lord. Because Lord is beyond these material things. Vedas mostly speak about the material world. Vedas talks about mostly material world. But in Vedas, the knowledge of Krishna is hidden. So it's not easy to find it out, Krishna in the Vedas. It's hidden, Krishna is there, but you can't find it out. Even you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, prayers offered by Vedas personified in the 10th canto. They themselves are saying that we cannot find you, Krishna. We cannot approach you directly. So that's what here Brahmaji is saying that. So Brahmaji could understand the Lord to a little extent only. We can know Lord to very little extent, the way, the amount Lord revealed to us. Brahmaji could understand the Lord to a little extent when he was trying to serve him by eagerness of his heart. Harda or Kanteya Vatha. So there, Krishna, Srila Prabhupada is giving a tip, a small indication that how we can understand Lord to little extent. Only by doing devotional service. And also with eagerness. It's not by some rules and regulation. Right? So, in the preliminary stage of bhakti, we do things by rules and regulation, But until you don't develop eagerness in your heart to get the Lord, what we call laulyam, eagerness. intense eagerness. If you don't have that intense eagerness in your heart, you cannot achieve the Lord. Just by simply by doing things on time and doing this or that, it will bring you to that platform. But until us we don't come to the platform of eagerness, that we really want Krishna, but that we really are looking for Krishna and we cannot live without Krishna, that eagerness should be there in our heart. Then we can understand Krishna to certain extent. Here Prabhupada said that Brahmaji could understand Lord to a little extent only when he was trying to serve by eagerness of his heart, which is the devotional service mood. This eagerness is the devotional service mood. So therefore, Lord can be known only by sincere mood of eagerness for service. Until we don't have sincerity in our devotional life, until we have no eagerness to achieve Krishna with sincere mood, without any without any cheating propensity, we just want Krishna, that's all. And with that intensity, if you are serving Krishna, then we can understand Krishna to a little extent, and not by any amount of material qualification as scientists or speculative philosophers, or by attainment of mystic powers. Then Prabhupada actually give this reference from Srimad Bhagavad Gita: Brahma Bhuta Prasannatman Shochiti na Kankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. This is the first stage where Krishna is saying Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. When you come to the stage of Brahma Bhuta, which is beyond this material contamination, no Sochiti na Kankshati, you don't think and then you don't desire. Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu, you are equal to all living entities. And then Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. At that stage, you can actually start performing devotional service. And then Krishna is glorifying here that Bhaktya Mam Vijanati. Only through bhakti you can know me. Only through bhakti. And then in last line, Vishte Tadanantaram. Here, Srila Prabhupada explained the meaning of Vishte. Vishte means here, you enter into the kingdom of God. Srila Prabhupada translated in Bhagavad Gita, by performing devotional service, you can enter into the kingdom of God. So here, Prabhupada says only self-realization by attainment of above high qualification of Vedic wisdom, austerity, etc., can help one on the path of devotional service. So means, is the self-realization and Vedic wisdom does some help to us? Yes, they help us in attaining. They help us in helping on the path of devotional service. They are not our cause of bhakti. They will help, but bhakti is still independent. A person can perform devotional service even without Vedic knowledge. They can perform bhakti. But here, these things will help on the path of devotional service. But failing in devotional service, one remains still imperfect. If somebody cannot become a devotee, they will still be imperfect. Because even in the position of self-realization, one cannot factually know the Supreme Lord. Even you come to know that you are not the body, you are the soul. Just by understanding that you are the soul, you don't understand Krishna. That is means in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that you are not the body or the soul, but still that is not complete knowledge. That is just one part of the knowledge. That is the beginning of the knowledge, that we are not the body, we are the soul. But that still doesn't give the knowledge about Krishna. And we cannot really understand Krishna just by understanding that fact. Here Prabhupada says by self-realization, one is qualified to become a devotee. Now, that is necessary if you want to make progress in devotional service. And the devotee by service mood. So once you become a self-realized, then you perform service, the devotional service with humility, and can gradually know the personality of God. Then you can actually know, and that's gradually. See, I always emphasize in my always discussion that that bhakti or any process is not an abrupt process. You see, many people say that, okay, sometimes some person was basically in the meditation and he got realizations, or he become enlightened, and he become like some magical thing happened, and then he become like self-realized or enlightened, or now he's become like very, very great person. Srila Prabhupada everywhere in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, wherever he says that bhakti is a gradual process. It doesn't happen overnight. That today you start chanting, tomorrow you become a pure devotee. It doesn't happen like that. We think like that we'll achieve like that. Okay, now we came to devotional service. Oh, somebody say, oh, I just started devotional service. I'm doing 16 round. I am doing all the Ekadashi Vrat and all. So within 6 months, I will become a pure devotee, right? That's what Prabhupada said. No, that's one will gradually know the personality of Godhead. It's not that not over time somebody will know Krishna automatically. So he always emphasized this, like he said, like if we are going to know Krishna gradually, because Krishna will reveal step by step. It's not that Krishna will abruptly reveal everything to the devotees. So one should not, however, misunderstand the import of Vishte. This is important point. Srila Prabhupada actually defeating the Mayavadi philosophy here, because many commentator they take this Vishte and they refer into the merging of the existence of Supreme. Because Srila Prabhupada's, one of the aim of Srila Prabhupada's preaching movement is to defeat this Nirvishesha Shunyavad philosophy. And this here, wherever who interpret this verse as merging into the existence of Supreme, Prabhupada said that's not the real meaning here. Prabhupada said that even in the material existence, one is merged into the existence of Lord. So Vishte means, like here Prabhupada say that even in the material world, right now we are in the material world. So here in the material world, you see matter and spirit are so entangled. The spirit actually enter into this material energy and they are entangled here. So the no materialist can disentangle self from matter. We cannot, means like without knowledge of Krishna, without knowledge of bhakti, without knowledge of Vedas, you can't really disentangle you yourself from this matter. For self is merged into the external energy of the Lord. This is the reason, because we are entered into this material energy and then we are so much entangled here. As no layman can separate butter from milk. Still, this is an example. If somebody doesn't know that there's a butter, there's a ghee in the milk, you don't know the process. Can you take out the milk or butter or ghee from the milk? You can't. You really don't know the process. So no one can extricate the merged self from matter by acquiring some material qualification. So this Vishate here, Prabhupada explained, this Vishate by devotion means to be able to participate in the association of Lord in person. So this is a real meaning. Prabhupada explained that Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is saying, Vishte tat anantaram, means you actually enter in the association of the Lord in the spiritual kingdom. We'll enter into the Vaikuntha planets and we serve the Lord. That's the real meaning here. So bhakti or devotional service to the Lord means to become free from material entanglement. And this is the first part. Bhakti means you get free from material entanglement. You get free from 3 modes of material nature. And then you enter into the kingdom of God, becoming one like Him. Like there are total 5 types of liberation. Srila Prabhupada explain later. So here, losing one's individuality is not the aim of Bhakti Yoga or the devotee of the Lord. There are 5 types of liberation, one of which is called Sayujya Mukti, or being merged into the existence or body of the Lord. So there are 2 types of Sayujya Mukti. One is merging into the Brahman and second is merging into the body of Mahavishnu. The other forms of liberation, which is other 4 liberation, maintain the individuality of the particle soul and involve being always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. So these other 4 liberation, which is basically like getting the same body as Krishna, same form as Krishna, and having the same opulence as Krishna, living on the same planet as Krishna, and living near to Krishna or the Lord Vishnu. So these 4-5 types of liberation, they are basically means you keep your individuality, because you are an individual person and you will get your spiritual body there, and then you are serving the Lord there. That's the real purpose of this word Vishte means. Prabhupada said the word Vishte used in the verse of Bhagavad Gita is thus meant for devotees who are not at all anxious of any kind of liberation. This is a very important point for the devotees, that devotees are not interested in liberation. The goal of devotional service is not to get liberated. So then what is the goal? The goal is to the service of the Lord. So should devotee get liberation? Yes. Liberation is like a byproduct. Like liberation is like, suppose if you want to get a rice and you grow the rice in the field. So along with the rice, you will get the skin of the rice. Like when we grow, then we give in the crops we get the skin of the rice, which is a like paddy. So that is already, we got it when we actually grow the rice along with the rice. So similarly, when we perform devotional service, our goal is to serve the Lord. Our goal is to serve the Lord without any exchange of, like we don't want any, there's no expectation. Ahatuki apriyata. The devotional service too should be without any motivation and without any interruption. So when we do that, the liberation is byproduct there. So devotees are simply satisfied simply in being engaged in the service of the Lord, regardless of the situation. That is pure devotional service. So Lord Brahma, now here Prabhupada explained the next this paragraph, that the Lord Brahma is the first living being who directly learned Vedic wisdom from the Lord. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavi, which I explained before. Therefore, who can be more Vedantist than Lord Brahma? So right now we see a lot of people who are sannyasis, like especially the Advaitan philosopher, they call themselves Vedantist, as if that they know a lot of like whole Vedas, right? Vedantist means person who know the essence of Vedas, right? So, but here Lord Brahma, he is the greatest Vedantist. He's the most learned Vedantist, but he is admitting that in spite of his being perfect knowledge in Vedas, he was unable to know the glories of the Lord. When Lord Brahma cannot know, so like say, since no one can be more than Lord Brahma, how can so-called Vedantists be perfectly congruent of absolute truth? So now so-called Vedantists, what we have in today's material world, they give them a title called we are Vedantist, or we learn Vedas and all. And if they claim that they know the Lord, Prabhupada question them, how can you know the Lord when Lord Brahma, who is the first Vedantist, who is the greatest Vedantist, who actually learned directly from Lord, he's admitting that he cannot understand the Lord, then how can you know the Lord? Simple formula, simple logic this, right? The so-called Vedantist, therefore, cannot enter into existence of Lord without being trained in the matter of Bhakti Vedanta. So Vedanta alone cannot help. Just by Vedanta, you cannot enter into the kingdom of God. You need to have, main is Bhakti, or Vedanta plus Bhakti. That's what Prabhupada says. Srila Prabhupada's title is Bhakti Vedanta Swami, right? So Vedanta means self-realization and Bhakti means realization of personality of Godhead. These are two very important points. Vedanta will give you knowledge about that you are not the body, you are the soul, give you the nature of the soul, but the knowledge about the Lord will come through Bhakti only. You see in Bhagavad Gita, first 6 chapters talks about self-realization, which is through process of karma yoga. You perform activities without any attachment. You do nishkama karma yoga, or do activity without any attachment, then you will get self-realization. But chapter number 7 to 12 is knowledge about the absolute. The 7th chapter talks about the knowledge of the absolute. The Bhagavad Gita talks about Krishna is giving knowledge about himself. That knowledge, that's why Prabhupada say that chapter 7 to 12 in Bhagavad Gita is Bhakti Yoga. Because only through Bhakti we can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And to some extent, Prabhupada always say, this Bhakti Krishna will reveal to the devotee to the extent he want to reveal to the devotee. So even through Bhakti also, in this material world, we can understand Krishna to the extent Krishna revealed to us. No one can know personality of God and in full. No one. Even Prabhupada say, even the devotees, they cannot know Krishna in full. Because Krishna is unlimited. Krishna is unlimited. So how can we know we are limited? How can we know something which is unlimited? But at least, here Prabhupada says, but at least to a certain extent, one can know the absolute truth, personality of Godhead by self-surrender and devotional attitude. by nothing else. So even if you want to know at least 5%, 10%, or little extent about Krishna, that is only through bhakti. Only through bhakti. Simply studying Vedas will not give you knowledge about Krishna. That's a real import of this. So in Brahma Samhita also it is said that Vedeshu durlabha atma bhakto. Vedas are also finding difficult to understand Krishna. Or simply by studying Vedanta, one can hardly find it out the existence of the personality of Godhead. But the Lord is adurlabham atma bhaktam. But Lord is not adurlabham. Durlabham for Vedeshu. People who are just studying Vedas, for them Krishna is durlabh, means difficult to attain. But for Atma Bhakta, for devotees, it is adurlabh, easily attainable, very easily attainable to devotee. So Srila Vedvyas therefore was not satisfied simply by compiling Vedanta Sutras. This is an example here. Now Prabhupada is giving example that when Vedvyas Muni first initially compiled all the 4 Vedas, then he compiled the Upanishads, the technical section of the Vedas. After compiling technical section of the Vedas, then he compiled the Vedanta Sutras for the philosophically minded people. But after compiling Vedanta Sutra, still he was not satisfied. Vedanta Sutra is supposed to be the cream of the Vedas. But still he was not satisfied. And he asked the question to his guru, Narad Muni, why I'm not satisfied, what I'm missing, what I'm lacking. Then Lord says that, Narad Muni says that because you did not glorify the Lord, you did not glorify the Lord, so you should go and write Srimad Bhagavatam now. Glorify the Lord and his devotees extensively. He actually glorified, but to very little extent. And also he actually glorified Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. He glorified other things also as part of Vedas. So he stresses on that, and very little stress he gave on the Krishna and the devotional service. But now Narad Muni is saying that you now give more extensive, more exclusive attention to bhakti and the devotees. So that actually he compiled in Srimad Bhagavatam. So here Prabhupada says that, but over and above this, by the advice of his spiritual master Narada, he compiled Srimad Bhagavatam in order to understand the real import of Vedanta. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Srimad Bhagavatam as a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutras. Because we remember that in a Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not say that we should write a separate commentary on Vedanta Sutra, because normally all the Sampradayas have a commentary on Vedanta Sutras. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says we accept this Srimad Bhagavatam as a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutras. So that's why but later actually Baldev Vidyabhushan compiled Govinda Bhashya, which is separate fact, just to basically establish the Siddhanta. But here we see Srimad Bhagavatam was a natural commentary given by Srila Vedvyas Muni on the Vedanta Sutras that we accept on because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed us. So Srimad Bhagavatam therefore is absolute medium by which to understand the absolute. So here finally Srila Prabhupada was saying that Srimad Bhagavatam through which we can understand the Krishna. On every page of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada mentioned the preface here. On every page of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can find Krishna. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very important, for us to understand the Sri Krishna. So this is the real here. In essence, in summary, Lord Brahma is saying, even I am the first living entity, even I am the forefather of all Prajapati, even I am the first Vedantist. Still, I cannot understand Krishna, because Krishna can be only understand by bhakti, and to the little extent whatever we perform, and that bhakti should be in very sincere mood. Ahaitukya priyata, then we can understand. So that's the real import of this verse. So thank you very much. Any questions or any comments anyone have on today's discussion?
Very, very nice purport, Prabhu. It's a lot of things to know. And even Brahma was confused, and Brahma was doing, and he came from Vishnu, navel thing. But if he cannot understand, so we normal people, it's very hard to understand. Like you said, bhakti, that's all. We have to start with bhakti and devotional service. So that is the little thing we can try from here. I think I feel like that way.
Thank you,
So
Mataji.
when Brahma himself, he's the top person, first person, and he is not that. He is not able to understand, and he got so much in this purport. He said so much, and it's Vedesh Durlabham. It's very hard to know Lord. So we always think I know him, I just read Bhagavatam, I know everything. It's not right. It is always, it's very hard. And how, I don't know how to do the bhakti and the devotional service we do little bit, but that is also not enough. That's also not enough.
Eagerness. Prabhupada explained, lolyam e mulyam. So we need to be like very eager to perform our devotional service. We perform devotional service with eagerness, and we will able to understand Krishna to a little extent. If we perform devotional service with lazy and thinking, okay, we'll do it, let's see what Krishna will come. So that will not actually will not be able to reach Krishna that easily. It will take life after life after life. My Guru Maharaj always says that if you do lazy bhakti, we will not be able to reach Krishna in many, many lifetimes also. So if you really want to make progress, do very intense bhakti. Means really you want to, you have to show Krishna that I really want you. And
Really
that eagerness should be there.
Not that show off also. You
Yes.
know, when we do something, we think, oh, I did it, and if everybody is knowing a lot, I'm doing service, devotional service. Like that also, it's not. Like you said, eagerness, then only we will get that.
Yeah,
So,
generally most of the time we start chanting and then we always look at the clock when my 16 down will reach.
yeah.
I'll keep my beats here and then do my my regular work. But actually, like eagerness means when you go to 16 down, you think now how much more I can do one by one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that eagerness we have to cultivate the love for the holy name, and so that we can continue. We should not stop. We should say why I'm stopping. I should keep chanting more and more. So that eagerness that Prabhupada mentioned here. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for a nice explanation. Thank you very much.
Anyone else would like to comment or any questions? Kavalya Prabhu, would you like to comment? Or you want to share your experience from your trip?
Okay, Prabhuji. So your class was very good today, and you explained very nicely about how Brahmaji actually and how Prabhupada explained the whole purport, So you explained it very nicely and elaborately. And about my trip, actually, I went to so many places. I went to South India, North India, and East India, also West, I went to Pandharpur, which really I liked, where Krishna is standing in the form of Vittalji on a brick, and his hands are on his waist, So it really looks so beautiful. And we took the permission to hug the deities, and I could actually hug the deity in it. I felt so good, And there is also many other temples also there. And ISKCON temple is very big there, and Loknath Maharaj is making another big temple next to that. So it will be really great tirtha there for all these ISKCON devotees and all other people. I also went to Bangalore and I met Murli Prabhu there, Mukta Sangha Prabhu, and I stayed with him 4 days. And he took me all around the Bangalore, and we saw the Melkote temple also there, where Ramanujacharya lived 12 years, and it is so that's his birthplace also. So it was very nice. There are ISKCON temples also I saw. I went to Kanyakumari, I went to Trivandrum and Guruvayur. So all these places I saw. And I went to Ujjain, Bhopal, Khargon temple. I went to Vrindavan also. Calcutta, I stayed 2 days and saw all the temples in Calcutta, Prabhupada's birthplace, Prabhupada's college, where he went. At the day where Prabhupada actually went on the shipboard, so like
Jaladuta.
Jalduta. Yeah, so Jalduta also, I saw all that places, And so it's all Tirtha actually and very nicely maintained. ISKCON has 2-3 temples in Calcutta now. So that's very nice. And Mayapur also, I saw a whole new project, TOAP project, it's going very fast, but still it will take time, They are opening the Nrsimha wing today, this month, February 19 to 22. But the temple opening will be, they are saying now 25, but I still doubt they can do it, they may extend it again because a lot of work has to be done. So I stayed there about 3 months in the 3 weeks, so almost 4 months actually. And I really enjoyed every bit of it. I went to Bhopal also. They have 2 ISKCON temples, one Bhakti Charu Maharaj temple and one Bhakti Vikas Maharaj temple. And I visited both, and there are so many bases, in the bases. Bhakti Charu Maharaj has 5 bases, and Bhakti Vikas Maharaj has 3 or 4 bases, and in those bases, many students, each base has more than 50 students. They pay the rent, it's the same philosophy as Krishna House. So the students can stay there. It's like their hostel, and they can live there, take the prasadam, and they pay nominal rent, so outside they need not to hire rent a room and then cook the prasadam or eat outside, things like that. So they participate in the programs, and about 20% students, they turn into devotees later on when they finish the college. So that is the main purpose of opening those, and it's much cheaper, at least half price, than outside if they live outside. So many students like to live there in the temple, attend morning program, evening program, take nice prasadam, and participate in all the programs and go to temples also. So it's very nice, And Krishna consciousness actually is booming in India. Here we see only people are coming Sundays, something like that. But there every single day, thousands and thousands of people are coming in each temple. And since the corona left us, then so many people became devotees after that. The population coming to temples in India almost doubled. More than that, people say 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So that many people are visiting temple, thousands and thousands of people in each temple visiting, so that's very good news. So ISKCON is actually expanding, and many new temples are coming up. So that's all great news for all of us. So that's what I would like to say, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Missed-
Nice to hear all that.
Yeah, we missed your association, but now you will basically shower your mercy on us. All those because you visited all the holy dhams, such a nice places. We always wish to go there, but at
Yeah.
least you can take your blessings. So
Yeah, we want your blessings.
someday
Well, I'm
we'll go
retired
there.
now. You don't have that much time to spend in India. Yeah, next year I want to go to Gangotri, Yamunotri,
Okay.
and Badrinath, Kedarnath, also Ayodhya, Dham. So those places I will visit next
Sure.
year, later part of this year.
Please always
Pranams, Prabhu.
give us your blessings.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else have any other comment or question? All right. So thank you all for joining today morning. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So we are going to end now. So have a everyone Krishna conscious day. Vancha kalpatarubhascha.
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
Shubhebhyo namo namah.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय
जय।
आदि की जय श्रीमद्
Yeah.
भागवत महापुराण की जय।
Thank you.
Thank you.